Live from Adelaide, 7 News with Mike Smithson.
Good afternoon. A truck driver charged over a horror double fatal multi-car crash south of the city has been released on bail. As Mitchell Sariovsky reports, the accused will front court in December.
After spending several hours here at the scene, major crash investigators arrested the 35-year-old truck driver. These were the shocking scenes in the moments after the crash. A semi jackknifed and on its side. A paramedic and witness tried desperately to help the badly injured driver who's trapped in a ute.
Oh my God.
The truckie, who is a relief driver for Fleurieu Regional Waste, was returning to Adelaide after collecting a load of rubbish from the local tip before the dreadful accident happened. The truck and trailer collided with 3 cars just after midday yesterday. The driver and passenger of the Ford were flown to hospital. 6 others were taken by road to Flinders, among them a 14-year-old boy and a 10-year-old girl. 2 Queensland women aged 44 and 64 who were passengers in the silver Ford passed away.
I was in a shock, mate, I just hate seeing people dying, It's almost, you want to cry.
Tragically, this can happen to anybody. It happens to innocent people in unexpected circumstances.
Police have charged the Victor Harbour truck driver with multiple offences, including causing death by dangerous driving. Fleurieu Regional Waste is now assisting police with their investigation. The company's told 7 News that their thoughts are with everyone involved in the crash and their loved ones.
The breaking news now, and a man's just been found guilty of the 2019 murder of Adelaide man Michael Pearce. The 32-year-old was last seen in February of that year, but his body has never been found. This afternoon, a Supreme Court justice ruled that Mark Bry-Leadon guilty.
It hasn't been easy for the last 5 years. As I've said in the past, that unfortunately this is a life sentence for us as well.
2 other men are already serving prison terms for Michael Pearce's death after pleading guilty to manslaughter. A forgetful thief has been busted at Gilman. A man was spotted on CCTV lurking at an Eastern Parade business just before 3:30 this morning. Police dog Chaos helped catch the suspect exiting out the back. He'd forgotten batteries to his angle grinder and was returning to his car at the time. The 42-year-old will appear in court next month. This year's Melbourne Cup has proven a thriller, coming down to a photo finish at Flemington. In a major upset, one of the rank outsiders, Knight's Choice, was declared the winner. SA jockey Jamie Carr rode the 3rd place getter, Akita Sushi. Here are the closing stages.
Akita Sushi grabbed by Zardozi. Knight's Choice is coming through at any old price, and Warp Speed as well. Zardozi grabbed by Knight's Choice and Warp Speed coming at it. Knight's Choice, Warp Speed, they hit the line. It's a photo finish. Knight's Choice, I reckon's won from Warp Speed in a photo.
Live now to Amelia at Morfettville, where the big race was captivating, and it captivated the local crowds, but Mills, the day hasn't entirely gone to plan.
Mike, that's right. An hour or so before the big race was run, there was actually a big race to get out of the brand new event centre here after a fire alarm went off, sending hundreds of beautifully dressed racegoers out into the rain. Smoke from an outdoor cooking area made its way into a jockey's area, causing the evacuation.
There's absolutely no damage to the facility or anyone else, most importantly, and the team did an amazing job getting people out of the reserve venues and the hospitality venues, so all clear and they're back having fun now.
The corporate hospitality packages were sold out some time ago, with Morfettville the place to be here in Adelaide on Cup Day. About 3,500 walked through the gates despite the less than perfect conditions.
I think that people pray too much for rain and it's come.
Definitely refreshing.
Already got a win, so hopefully many more to come.
And it wasn't just Morfettville where crowds flocked for the race that stops the nation. Hundreds dressed to the nines enjoyed the traditional Melbourne Cup luncheon at Adelaide Oval, while pubs braced for punters in what is one of the busiest days on the calendar in hospitality. Now, racegoers here are now faced with odds of a different kind. There is still the risk of thunderstorms across the metro area this afternoon, with lightning already delaying the card here. The last race will now be run at 6:10. I'll have a look at what's in store weather-wise tomorrow in the forecast a little later, Mike.
What a day indeed. Thanks, Mills. To other news now, and it's the final sprint to the finish line in the US presidential election. Kamala Harris is holding a number of rallies in Pennsylvania today, one of the swing states which could hold the key to victory. Here's Miley Hogan.
Kamala Harris has now closed her case to the American people, wrapping her campaign for president in the battleground state of Pennsylvania. Wrapping up election eve with a party-style rally in Philadelphia, Oprah helping her friend.
If you are watching or hearing me right now and you haven't already, you have got to vote.
All a warm-up for the candidate. The Vice President stayed with her familiar campaign lines but made one noticeable change to her stump speech and stopped referring to Donald Trump by name.
So America, it comes down to this. One more day, just one more day in the most consequential election of our lifetime, and the momentum is on our side.
Kamala Harris dedicating her day to Pennsylvania, visiting 4 cities in one day. She rallied in Allentown, a majority Latino city, where supporters highlighted the racist remarks and jokes made about their community at Trump's Madison Square Garden rally. Her decision to dedicate election eve solely to Pennsylvania highlights how critical she believes it will be to the outcome of this election. Now, Kamala Harris waits to see if the American people will deliver her victory.
Meanwhile, the former US president is sowing doubt about the result even before the election has been held. Tim Lester explains.
Yes, lots of talk of cheating from the Republican candidate without any evidence whatsoever. But Americans have seen this movie before, of course, 4 years ago in the election then, and it really has set up a nervous time now for the country as they watch how their democracy performs as it comes under pressure. Behind me, the Palm Beach County Convention Centre. This is where Republicans hope to come tomorrow night with Donald Trump to celebrate an extraordinary return to the White House, one that was frankly unthinkable just a little less than 4 years ago when Donald Trump left the White House as president after January 6th. He now is campaigning full throttle through the last day to get as many votes as he can for the cause. 4 campaign rallies in one day, one in marginal North Carolina, 2 through Pennsylvania, and a final one in Grand Rapids, Michigan.
If we win Pennsylvania, not me, if we win Pennsylvania, we win the whole ball of wax. It's over.
2 great questions. One, who wins the election? And if Donald Trump loses, how does he respond?
Federal government will spend $600 million offering cash bonuses to Australian Defence Force personnel to encourage them to stay. But critics say throwing money at the problem isn't enough to address workforce shortages in the military. Rob Scott explains.
The world is an increasingly dangerous place and the need for a properly staffed defence force is essential. But the ADF has been under strength for years, battling to attract and retain staff. So to try to turn that around, the government has announced it'll spend $600 million extending and expanding the continuation bonus, offering $40,000 lump sum payments to convince those men and women who've completed their first 4 years of service to sign up for another 3.
We came to office inheriting a shrinking Defence Force, and it's really important that we are able to grow our Defence Force.
It's an extension of a pilot program unveiled last year which offered $50,000 payments. That proved a huge success with an almost 80% uptake, resulting in close to 3,500 personnel agreeing to stay on. Under this new package, the bonus will be decreased, but it'll be expanded to include members with between 7 and 9 years service, hoping to bolster the lower and the middle ranks.
What we need to be doing here is extending the average term of service. Right now it's about 7 years. Our plan is to try and extend that through to 12.
But critics say it's not as attractive as it sounds.
By the time they take their tax out of it, it ends up at about 18 grand. It's rubbish. Tax-free. Tax-free is what they want to see.
We do provide people the opportunity to spread that payment over 2 years if that's beneficial for them for matters like tax.
The scheme is part of the newly released Defence Workforce Plan, which makes it clear for the ADF to stabilise and grow, it must almost double its number of recruits, boosting the annual inflow from 5,500 to 9,000 over the coming decade. The number of reservists will also need to increase by 1,000 personnel by 2030.
Still to come on 7 News, no relief for SA families today as rates are kept on hold. That story's next. And a major milestone for Adelaide's new Aquatic Centre. The ABC has said sorry after an investigation found the public broadcaster inadvertently but inaccurately added gunshot noises to footage of Australian Special Forces soldiers in Afghanistan. The review was conducted by a former ABC editorial executive. Paul Caddick reports.
Good afternoon. The ABC News chief has today apologised after a review found reports done by the national broadcaster on operations by Australia's 2nd Commando Regiment in Afghanistan had footage with extra gunshots added in, exposed in an investigation by 7's Spotlight.
It was Spotlight and Channel 7 that brought to our attention the video editing issues and brought that attention to ABC News. 5 additional sounds of gunshots were inadvertently but inaccurately introduced into footage. Obviously this shouldn't have occurred and we're taking it and have taken it very seriously.
The review says there's no evidence it was done deliberately or to mislead or deceive, but an accident of attempting to create an effective video sequence.
Can I ask you what you have to say to the soldiers of 2nd Commando Regiment?
We've been very clear in our public statement that Mr Sunderland's done a very thorough interim review. We've been very clear that we regret what happened. Mate, I want to go into my office. Thank you very much. Oh, of course. Yeah, we've been implicit in our statement that the editing errors shouldn't have occurred.
Senators told it involved an experienced video editor who no longer worked at the ABC.
We are determined to continue to support our journalists in their pursuit of important matters of significant public interest.
One key question remained unanswered today: why a letter to ABC lawyers warning of these extra gunshot sounds back in 2022 wasn't followed up. That is still under investigation.
As widely predicted, interest rates have been kept on hold with little hope of relief for borrowers this year. Amelia Brace has more.
Well, unfortunately for mortgage holders, this was a pretty safe bet. The official cash rate remaining on hold at 4.35% as expected. While many were, of course, hoping to see a cut, 2 important data releases from the Bureau of Statistics were key factors in the Reserve Bank's decision to hold. Firstly, labour data, which showed employment and participation rates at record highs. That's a concern because it could put upward pressure on inflation. The second is inflation. Well, the last quarterly CPI data showed the headline number is now within the RBA's target band of 2 to 3%. That was seen as somewhat artificially low thanks to government energy rebates and relatively low petrol prices. This is what Reserve Bank Governor Michelle Bullock had to say on the board's decision a short time ago.
The board needs to be confident that inflation is moving sustainably towards the target, and we need to see more progress on underlying inflation coming down. We're watching the data closely and we're not ruling anything in or out.
Unfortunately, it is unlikely we'll see enough change before the board meets again in December, meaning the chances of a rate cut this year are pretty low. In fact, all of the big 4 banks and most economists are now tipping that we will see the first rate cut in February.
A major construction milestone's been reached on the new Aquatic Centre in North Adelaide, with slabs poured for the 3 indoor pools. The $135 million facility will also feature water slides, an outdoor lagoon and a fitness centre.
It is a facility for the whole state. This will be the home to country swimming carnivals, it'll be the home to big metropolitan meets, but it'll also be a facility for a lot of people to enjoy.
The centre's on track to open in the summer of 2025-26. Well, coming up next, sport with Hazy as the Strikers skipper Matt Short gets ready to light up Adelaide Oval for the Aussies. and why the Power can win it all in their first final series.
Hello again. This year's Melbourne Cup was one of the closest in history, with the result coming down to a photo finish. In a major upset, outsider Knight's Choice was eventually declared the winner.
Knight's Choice is coming through at any old price, and Warp Speed as well. Zardozi grabbed by Knight's Choice, and Warp Speed coming at it. Knight's Choice, Warp Speed, they hit the line. It's a photo finish.
Japanese horse Warp Speed came second. The Jamie Carr-ridden Okita Sushi came third. The cricket and Adelaide Strikers skipper Matt Short is confident he can find some form in Australia in Friday's second ODI against Pakistan. The Aussies arrived in town today with Short excited to bat on an Adelaide Oval deck he knows better than most.
Yeah, it's my favourite ground in the world, favourite ground to play out. I've played there quite a number of times now, so should be pretty familiar with it. Yeah, we saw probably Pakistan's tactics with their bowling pretty short. I think they might have to change that a little bit at this ground, being a bit different with the shorter square boundaries.
Aussie skipper Pat Cummins was the catalyst for a gutsy win, leading his side home by 2 wickets.
With so much control, he gets Australia over the line once again with the bat.
Tonight we got it done. I always much prefer sitting in the change room. I think for 3/4 of it really good. Just trying to tighten up that, particularly, try and find some partnerships.
Cummins finished unbeaten on 32. Well, as they embark on their first AFLW finals campaign, Port Adelaide is adamant they're a premiership contender. Coming off a 6-game winning streak, the side's confidence is sky high.
We're not just making up numbers in this 8. We're absolutely going for the top prize. There's no point being in there if you're not. So, yeah, we'll take one game at a time. Once we beat Richmond, we'll see what's happening next week after that.
Port Adelaide host Richmond at Alberton Oval on Sunday afternoon. Well, Melbourne City has 2 wins from its opening 3 A-League games after taking down the winless Western United 1-0. Shortly after the goal, Andrew Naboot was taken off with a knee injury. In the Premier League, Fulham trailed Brentford late until substitute Harry Wilson flicked home a 92nd minute equaliser.
There it is. How he diverted it in, only he really knows.
Wilson struck again in the 98th minute to seal a 2-1 win that lifts the Cottagers up to 9th on the table. That's our look at sport this afternoon. 7 News at 6. There's a few indications coming through, Smillo, that Nathan McSweeney might have locked up at that opening spot for the Test side. So a little bit more on that later on.
Let's hope so. Thanks, Hazy. Stay with us. Right after the break, Amelia joins us for a look at your local forecast.
Good afternoon, Dorian Tassado from the Freedom Traffic Centre. Got ourselves a crash in Fulham Gardens on Tapleys Hill Road near Jamaica Avenue. Also Woodville North on Hanson Road near Arndale Shopping Centre. And a fallen tree in Elizabeth South on Main North Road near Frost Road. Freedom's blackout sale is on now. Get up to 30% off selected sofas and furniture and up to 50% off all mattresses. Don't miss out, only at Freedom. That's the latest Adelaide traffic. Stay safe out there this Arvo. And back to you, Mike.
And Rosanna Dorian, don't forget her. Our main bulletin coming up at 6. Rosie, what have you got?
Thank you very much, Smitho. Coming up tonight at 6, a truckie arrested over that horrific smash south of Adelaide yesterday. The 35-year-old charged with a raft of offences. Also run and won a major upset on horse racing's biggest day of the year on and off the track at Morphettville, where racegoers clutching onto their fascinators were evacuated. Plus, the true blue death notice that's making headlines around the world. The woman's family telling it pretty much how it was, honest and full of humour as well. I hope you can join us for those stories. Of course, so much more at 6 tonight.
Thanks, Rosie, for that. Well, this is quite possibly the most Aussie marriage proposal we've ever seen. Melanie loves Bunnings so much, her partner Jeff popped the question via the loudspeaker at their local Queensland store.
I'm there at Bunnings every week, and he was just doing it just right for me.
The couple is now happily planning their wedding. Plenty of parking there too. Moscow Zoo is celebrating the birth of a rare brown hyena cub. Keepers have stepped in to raise him after his mother died during delivery. The now 3-month-old cub is thriving, weighing 7.5 kilos. The brown hyena is considered a near threatened species with its wild population in decline. Let's get a quick check of the weather now. Amelia's still at Morphettville, where it's been an eventful afternoon, Mills.
Mike, you can say that again. We did have a line of showers and storms move through about an hour ago, and lightning did delay some of the racing here, with the final race here now scheduled for 6:10 this evening. In the city today, well, it wasn't as warm as the first thought. We did hit a top of 25.1 degrees a short time ago, and we could very well go higher soon. Tomorrow, there is the chance of the odd thundery shower in our north. A hot 45 on the way for Moomba, with any isolated showers or storms clearing from the south of the state in the morning. At 29 is the forecast top for Port Augusta, 23 the top for Port Lincoln, 25 in Clare, Kadina and Nuriotpa, up to 23 in Victor Harbour and Mount Gambier, 34 the top for Renmark. And right now there is concern storms in these districts could produce damaging winds over the next few hours. In the city, a mild night's on the way with a low of 18 degrees forecast. They're not too far to travel with a top of 25 degrees. And with a bit of cloud around tomorrow, you can't rule out the chance of the odd shower or maybe the odd rumble in the city in the morning. Mike.
Thanks, Mills, for that. Rosanna and Will return at 6 o'clock. Now, don't forget, we've got big US election coverage tomorrow. You won't miss a thing. Hopefully, we'll know a winner. Let's wait and see. I'll see you again tomorrow as well. But from the entire team, it's bye for now.
The 7 News app will give you the news you want every minute of every day, including breaking news alerts. Download the 7 News app now.